the one with the highest number of sub-counties, 9 of them. Salute. And that team is led by Josephat Pikipiwot, who is the County Commissioner Kilifi. Take your seats. We go, sir, to 004, which is Tana River. County Security Team, Tana River, some are at the back. Tana River, sir, we have 5 sub-counties. Tana Delta, they are behind. Tana River, Galdetu, Tana North, and Bangale. They are all present. Salute, and they are led by David Koske, who is the County Commissioner, Tana River. We go to 05, Lamu. County Security Team, Lamu, sir, they are on the other side. Mpeketoni, Sub-County Security Team, Lamu Central, and Lamu East. Lamu East, sasa ndio wanatushikilia viungani, that is Faza, Pate, and Kiunga. Salute, and they are led by Wesley Koech, who is the County Commissioner. Finally, we go to 06, which is Taita Taveta. You are very far at the back. I don't know, sir, whether you'll be able to see them, but they have stood the county security team. Our county commissioner, Taita Taveta, is on annual leave. So the team is led by senior DCC, Mr. Nduti. Then we have 4 sub-counties. Voi sub-county security team, Taita, Mwatate, and Taveta. Salute. Thank you very much. So those are the members that I have from this region. And the team that I've presented before you is a very, very able team, a very cohesive team, a team that we meet twice annually. Like last year, we met in February to plan and strategize, and then we met in December to see what we've done and also prepare ourselves for the festive season, which was very, very successful. We are grateful for the support we've had from our peers and also from the IG, because sometimes even when we have issues affecting our officers where we require change so that we can synergize, they have been very, very helpful. In other areas, we reorganize ourselves internally so that we are able to give out our output effectively. So, sir, I'm very proud of this team that I've presented before you. We've worked very well. This is a team that has built that synergy. That is where when I received you, I asked, why are you going with my from the coast region? But we understand that we are all supposed to serve at a given time, at a given place. So this team has worked so cohesively. We have that cohesiveness up to the sub-locational level. If you look at what we do and our raids, you will always find if it's our ACC, our chiefs, they are always together. And that has come because we are working together. Our officers, both from Ngao, National Administration Police, Guard of our waters, and also the border security teams because of our ports of entry. So this team has really worked so tirelessly to ensure that the region is secure and stable so that we can have guests like we did. Because if the tourism industry in this region is down, and then vijana wanatusumbua. So we've really worked hard to ensure that there is peace and stability in the coast region so that we can attract investment and our youths are able to. So, sir, I will end there and assure you that this is a very able team and will continue to ensure that the region remains stable even as we started this year. I'll take this opportunity now to welcome Jack to take over from here. Thank you very much.
All protocols observed. Another round of introduction is for the RCs from other regions who are present here. And I will start with Nyanza. RC Nyanza. I think she came alone. Or they are, okay. Okay. Thank you. Salute. Thank you. Eastern region. RC Eastern. Okay, salute. Thank you. Nairobi area. Thank you. The other category of officers present here, sir, are the regional CC. Otiena ndako niwa. RC Northeastern, sorry. Thank you, Bwana Otiena. Thank you, Bwana Otieno. I hope I've not forgotten another region here present. Rift Valley representative? Representative of the RC? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Central region? Regional Central team? Yeah. Thank you. Western region? Sankei? Okay, thank you. Western region. We have a team of the chairman of the regional CC chairman. We don't want to forget them. Regional CC chairman. You have already been introduced. We go to headquarters team. Please, all headquarters team, HODs present, be upstanding, just for appreciation. So we have past national administration, secretary national administration, secretary peace building, secretary policy and liaison, deputy director legal, director HR, planning director. Who else? Wanamutua there. This is the regional team. Yes. Hey, Saka ulikuwa umesaulika. My deputy director security. Thank you very much. The regional team, the headquarter team, I mean. The other group is representatives from Ministry of Interior and National Administration, representative of the various, the two PSS, correctional, Wanawajoy, Secretary Administration, yes. Migration, is there a representative from migration? And citizen services, okay. At this juncture, sir, allow me now to invite, the next presentation is by Dr. Masood Mwinyi, who will take us through a presentation on the overview of the APS roadmap for service delivery revitalization. Dr. Masood, please.
Our chief guest this morning, who is none other than our Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Interior and National Administration, Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, EGH. Allow me, sir, to pick from where the protocols have been established, acknowledging any of which may not have been captured, but also appreciating that the formidability of this gathering this morning cannot be downplayed. And for that matter, Honorable Minister, Honorable CS, we appreciate each and every one of us who is here this morning. Before I do that bit of the presentation, and because we have had the opportunity of knowing who is here, kindly allow me, with your permission, to point out the officers from the service who are also here with us. These are the senior commanders who have, in essence, been undertaking the 1-week Senior Commanders Conference from different areas. Sir, the first team I wish to introduce is the senior officers and commanders from the headquarters, that is directors, both uniformed and non-uniformed directors. Can we please be upstanding, all the directors from the headquarters, both uniformed and non-uniformed directors? We have logistics, we have SQM, we have complaints, we have personnel, we have the chief of staff, we have operations, we have gender and welfare, we have planning, research and reforms and external linkages, we have director medical, we have director ICT, we have director training and research, we have director legal, we have the senior principal finance officer, we have the deputy accountant general, we have head of records, we have head of procurement, we have head of human resource, and we also have our economist, and we have our auditor. I believe I have made justice. If I give the names, sir, we may be here for a little bit longer. Directors, salute. Wale hakuna uniform si mnajua. Si tumewafunza kutoka kifua cha serikali. Please be seated. Thank you so much, directors. Sir, the next team I wish to introduce are the senior commanders who are in charge of our various training institutions. So can we have that team upstanding, please? It is a small team, so I think I can give their names, beginning with the Commandant, National Police College Embakasi A Campus, Senior Assistant Inspector General, Mr. Davis Leruma Lomatu. And then we have the Commandant of the Border Police Training Campus, Mr. Isaac Alima, Assistant Inspector General of Police. Then we have Madam Gisiri Nyamuhanga, Commissioner of Police. She's the Commandant of a Senior Staff College located at Emali. And finally, we have the Commanding Officer of the Leadership and Sports Center in Kilimanjaro in Meru, Mr. Rem Julius Mutabari, SSP. Officer, salute. Thank you so much. And then we have heads of units. The unit commanders, a few of them, if we may be upstanding, please. Our chief guest, again, there are not so many. Directors, nisisikia wivu sikutaja majina, nyinyi wengi sana. Wengine mwende nje mkitaka kutaja majina ndio mutajwe. Sir, we begin with the Commandant of the Border Police Unit, Senior Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. James Kamau. And then we have the commandant of the critical. Mr. Kamau is based at the headquarters of the unit in Kanyonyo, Kitui County. We have Mr. Philip Rono, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Commandant Critical Infrastructure Unit, based in Machakos, Athi River. We have the Commandant of the Anti-Stock Theft Unit, based in Nakuru County, Gilgil in particular, Assistant Inspector of Police, Mr. Limo, Joseph Limo. We have the Commandant of Security of Government Buildings and VIP Protection Unit, Assistant Inspector General of Police, Mr. Lazarus Opicho. We have the Commandant of the Rapid Deployment Unit, based in Embakasi, Nairobi, Commissioner of Police, Moto Agri Shamala. We have the Commanding Officer of the Special Operations Group, based in Kanyonyo, Mr. Fares Emitundo. And finally, we have the Commanding Officer in charge of the Special Weapons and Tactics Team, all female, Madam Ndinda Ruth Kiduka, Commissioner of Police. Officer, salute. Thank you so much. And then we have our senior commanders in charge of the regions. If we may be upstanding, I know some of you have been mentioned through your respective security teams. But now, beginning from Nyanza, from Coast, Mr. Ndungu, Nairobi, Mr. Kadhuli, Northeastern, Mr. Chakwet. I have Nyanza, Mr. Zakari Mwangi. We have Eastern, Mr. Baraza. At the back, we have Rift Valley, Mr. Hassan. We have Central, Bwana Gilbert Sumuko. And finally, we have Western, Mr. Alike Ibrahim, all commissioners of police. Officer, salute. Thank you so much. Honorable CSR, we also have the teams supporting us in Coast, led by Bwana Seda and Bwana Jubat, the incoming. Bwana Jubat, you are here? Jubat, and also, yes, is the incoming, and he has also been very supportive now because we are hosted in Coast, and of course, with the county team from Kwale, we sincerely appreciate them. Sir, finally, if you may allow me, under this introductory period, even as we sit here for 1 week, we acknowledge the fathers who were before us in the AP service. We have very senior persons we consider fathers of the AP service. We have Mr. Kinodhi Ambugwa. We say he's the father of the AP service. He has many hats, and we cannot do justice to his introduction. So, sir, allow me just to call you the father of the AP service, and we take note of the time and your presence. Thank you so much, sir. We also have Mr. Omar Shurie. Mr. Omar Shurie is here with us as well. Thank you so much, sir. And we have Mr. Keitan. Sir, these are retired, Mr. Joseph Keitan. All of them have since exited the service, but we thought that even as we seek to go forward, we cannot at any time afford to forget where we come from. We still appreciate that they have so much they can offer in terms of wisdom, advice, and guidance. So allow me now to run into this very brief presentation so that we also get to know and appreciate why the roadmap that we are talking about, revitalization. So on 25th July 2024, Mr. Masengeli took the oath of office as the DIG AP service. It was a Thursday. 5 days later, on a Monday, he gave instructions to his officers, led by the Director of Operations and Director of Planning, to draw a roadmap immediately, which will help spur service delivery in the AP service. And so the journey to crafting this roadmap started 1 week after he took office, appreciating the fact that there was need for us to do things differently. Let us roll. Roll. Sir, in this roadmap, we have these elements. Anybody picking that roadmap and he has no time to go through it all, he'll see our executive summary. He will also see a bit of the history, the direction we intend to take, an analysis of how we are and how things are, objectives and strategies, but also a matrix aimed at showing us how we are going to do it, an element of M&E, and finally a conclusion of the roadmap. In the executive summary, sir, we are trying to trace the history of the AP service from inception in 1902, but also significant roadmaps and milestones that have shaped the development of the AP service. A number of instruments, including the NPS strategic plan, the strategic framework 2024-2028 NPS Act, among others, are some of the key elements that we have put into this summary as an overview for our readers, partners, and stakeholders to appreciate what is contained in the roadmap. Let us roll. Within the roadmap, sir, are these 5 key objectives. As a service, we believe that we have no other business apart from capturing these 5 elements and running with them. It is our conviction that if we are able to enhance professionalism and accountability, if we are able to strengthen operational preparedness and logistical capacity, if we are able to promote public trust and confidence, if we are able to improve welfare and motivation of our officers, and finally, if we say we are part of the government efforts to support and mitigate climate change, then our presence as AP service in this country will be affirmed and will be appreciated. Every officer, we are saying he or she, wherever he will be, deployed or otherwise, should be able to appreciate these elements and know that his role in the development of our country hinges on how best we can deliver on this. And this is contained in the roadmap. Let us roll, please. The roadmap, sir, has 6 chapters. And chapter 1 of the roadmap is dedicated to the history of the AP service. We may feel that the history is well known. People may be able to say the history of the AP service goes here and there. But we thought it necessary and wise to capture the history so that even as we speak and revel in what others have done, we are also telling ourselves and our officers, the forefathers were able to achieve this, do this, and attain this. Where will we be captured in the history of the AP service and policing this country 30 years down the line? So, sir, we have a number of milestones captured here, all the way to the change of guard in 2024 for the AP service, but also significantly captured so that even an officer joining the service, he or she is able to appreciate and be proud, and also know that he or she has a duty to contribute to building the service and helping our country. We don't just want to be reading history. We want another chapter being done for any officer who comes into the service. Let us roll. In chapter 2, we have what we call our strategic direction. And in this chapter, we have our vision, our mission, core values, and core functions. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we know, as it is said, where there is no vision, people perish. Where there is no mission, people become directionless. Where there are no core values, professionalism is undermined. And where the functions are not clearly defined, then we have a sense of directionless even more. So in this chapter, sir, we have articulated, even though not as heavily because it may be appearing to be a very thin chapter. But this, in us as AP service, we call it the heart of the service. Because without values, the officers will not attain one of the elements we say there, public trust. Without the functions being done properly as required, one of the elements we saw at the back there, professionalism will be lost on us. So we have captured this clearly in chapter 2, so that then we remind ourselves, are we revitalizing just for the sake, or we are revitalizing because we know we have a duty to perform? Let us roll. So chapter 3 has an overview of how we look at ourselves from the pastel perspective and from the SWOT perspective. Many a times when we do documents, we look at this analysis, dwelling on threats and challenges, forgetting that we have got opportunities and strength, which are also captured in this analysis. So even as we look at the pastel and the factors and everything else contained in this document, the biggest element of emphasis that we have spoken about here is to capitalize in each and every element that comes our way, knowing that even a negative can have something positive to it. We keep on saying that a bad workman can still use inferior tools and be able to deliver. So broadly, we have looked at this, and we have said that if you can't have the best, make the best out of what you have. We have said this in detail. And as we share this roadmap today, when you unveil it, we'll make sure that it is the Bible, apart from the mainstream Bible, of every AP officer, of course, then riding on the National Police Strategic Plan. Let us roll. Again, the issues here come out as political factors, economic factors, socio-cultural factors, technological factors. We can have a whole raft of issues. But the aim, sir, of having all this here is not to show how weak we are or how we might feel impeded, but is to also whet our appetite for success. If there's a problem, then we are telling our commanders and all the senior commanders of the service are here, then there is no other person who will be part of getting solutions for the problems here, apart from them. And even if help will be coming from outside, it must begin with them. Because where there's a problem, the solution begins with the person who has identified the problem. So we are putting here this for a purpose to ensure that our officers have a sense of direction, have a sense of purpose. Let us roll. All the way to, again, others, all the way to chapter 3. I want us to go to chapter 4. Sir, at chapter 4, again, these have been captured at the beginning, out there. But as I've said, sir, they also form the core of the AP service. When we look at this as our objectives, we will also take cognizance of the fact that on 13th December 2024, His Excellency the President launched the National Police Strategic Plan at KSG Nairobi. And after that launch, which we were all preparing as NPS, we said that one of the factors that need to support that plan is to make a plan from that plan. Because the IG, for him to achieve the aspirations and the ideals of the plan, is to ensure that each and every officer also has a strategy of implementing his plan. Hence the roadmap that DIG Masengele has done, so that as DIG Masengele does this, again supported with other instruments, including performance contracting, which the DIG now, after signing with the IG, is also signing with his commanders, work plans, and what other instruments and tools of work, we are able to see a policing institution that answers the 21st century policing questions. A policing institution that the public and the people who pour millions of shillings into having them employed is able to appreciate what they are doing for them. And we can only do that if we are focused. And we can only be focused if we get to write what we want to do, where we want to go. And that was the discussion we had since Monday. Where are we? Where do we want to go? And how do we want to go there? Let us roll, please. Chapter 5, that of course is now the tail end of the roadmap document, but also the key and the core of it. Because in this is where we have now activities defined. Sir, the document has got 163 activities, outlined, measured, and tested. And in these 163 activities, the DIG has given instruction that each commander should be able to identify activities he or she can pick and perform. It is not the DIG to do this. It is us, and it is not the IG to run the plan. It is the NPS, and the NPS is me and all the officers below me. So all the way to actors, performance indicators, time frame, and costing. Again, we will once in a while be coming to your office, knocking, of course, through the IG and DIG to see if we are doing right and if you can also advise on what else we can do. And finally, Chapter 6, the bit on monitoring, evaluation and reporting, which is again an element of any strategic document done. It must have these key components so that we are able to know, are we doing what we promised? When we did this document, sir, we were able to refer back to two key documents. The first APS strategic plan and the second APS strategic plan, which we were done over 20 years ago. And before we were able to say we want to launch this, we asked ourselves, were we able to achieve anything in that? And we are happy to report that those documents were evaluated by independent authorities in management. And they were able to see, one, continuity, and two, achievement on some of the elements captured in the previous documents. And I can proudly say, sir, that what is contained in this roadmap will be achieved one way or the other, because we know we have no other option. The IG, when flagging officer to Haiti, he told them mission possible. As your officers again today, we are assuring you the possibility of the mission is assured by our standing here. Afande, I wish to end there, and that is our conclusion, which of course carries the elements of what we want to see: improved effectiveness in the APS, motivation of course captured, preparedness, stronger community relations, adoption of, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are many elements, but sir, I want to believe that this, and when you see the document, everything will be okay. Afande, I thank you so much. But before I give Mr. Narengo, sir, with your permission, I said we have people we call fathers of the AP service. 3 of them. I'm requesting we allow Mr. Mbugwa a minute or 2 to say a word, and then Mr. Narengo takes over. Afande Mbugwa, karibu, please.
Our chief guest, who is the Cabinet Secretary, Internal Security and Provincial Administration, our PS, the chairman, starting with the chairman of the Parliamentary Committee on Security, the chairman IPOA, the chairman Public Service Commission, the regional commanders who are here, and of course the reps of the other ministries who are here, provincial, county commissioners, our Inspector General of Police and your 2 deputies, the DIG APs, the DIG Kenya Police, our DCI. Allow me, our chief guest, not to mention and acknowledge everybody because they have been acknowledged, and also we are conscious of the time factors. May I say that this is a very great moment where the security organ of this country are seated under the guardianship of the Cabinet Secretary, so as to review the performance of these very important security organs. Because all over the world, the exercise of reviewing and re-engineering the organizational structures, the strategic plans, normally gives a new thrust, a new impetus to the organization. Without doing so, the organizations decay and eventually they die. It's very important that the principal deputy has mentioned that aspect of continuity. The first strategic plan for the APs was in the year 2004. We were reviewing it yesterday, and you can see the review to see where were we then, what have we done is very, very important. Because in the strategic plan, it points out the vision and the mission. One of the dreams we had, for example, when we were doing the strategic plan, the year 2004, a small element we observed was that maybe one day the APs will be within the international missions. And for those days, it was a real dream. What we used to do when coming up with the strategic plan, we would all sit the AP's provincial administration. I'm sure Ngetich, you may have sat in one of those forums because we all used to sit together. And for those days to dream that the APs will one day be included in any of the international mission was a real dream. Yesterday we are observing that today as we talk, the APs are in the UN mission, which means well-crafted and well thought out strategic plans, way forward, they work, because that is how you are focused on what you do, and you are not doing things randomly. So this is a very great day when we are looking at how far the police services have gone and reviewing and seeing where else are we going. We may not yet have reached that stage of the NGAPU, but allow me, sir, just to mention in advance, this is a very important and good step that we have taken. It's a bold step. It's a bold step which needed the courage that you have taken. Of government policies and also the coordination. And from the day when the APs came into effect, 1902, the whole concept and idea was to have an arm, a security arm, which supports the civil administration, the overall executive. And it had done so well. So for the time that we had that short disconnect, the effects can be seen, because the executive needs an arm which you now enforce. When you make environmental laws and all those other policies, you need an arm that you support the executive to implement. So we had somehow started to lose that, and now the country is going to get a lot of hope because you are going to see things moving. It's not my day. I've just been asked to say hello and maybe make a small comment, but all the same, I really want to support this move, which will really strengthen our government. Thank you very much, our chief guest, and may I commend you. You are very busy. To get time and commit yourself to this forum, it has a big, big impact. Keep it up.
Thank you sana Afande. Mheshimiwa Waziri, Bwana Mbugwa na Bwana Shuria, ingaje umri hailingani, lakini ni kama mapacha. Kwa hivyo Bwana Mbugwa akipozungumza, sikiongea na pacha mwingine asipozungumza, lawama litaniangukia. Naomba kwa ruksa yako nimwalike Bwana moja tu hawa. Kwa hivyo welcome, sir.
fierce internal security, Mr. Omoro, my friend, sorry, sir. The Parliamentary Committee, the Chairman, President, Defense, Security, Sector, IG, DRG, and other forums. My initiative, first of all, is to support the initiative, of which I was previously, because the security thing, to me, is very delicate. And if we are not going to take serious things, I will repeat, the security element has to serve security. And this animal called security, very delicate. So we have to take care and pass this way and you in order to be effective and efficient. Mine today is very small. I will support the initiative. And I have supported the initiative on behalf of others. I will support the initiative. One advice. We have completed the initiative and the strategy. There is a small element I want to mention. Those who are giving these responsibilities of taking care of us, I want to advise you, observe and careful cooperation, teamwork, earshot to the command. What is earshot? Earshot to the command is listen and hear and implement. If you are not going to do that, you are going to lose. Communication, directed and indirect, you have to listen. Cooperation, coordination, and teamwork. And earshot to the command. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our chief guest, sir, hiyo mawaidha ya wazee wa zamani kama tungekosa hapa, hii siku ingekuwa complete. Thank you very much. Now, sir, with your permission, we have a small presentation overview of why we are here, of the National Government Administration Unit, NGAPU, to be presented by Mr. Thomas Saka, Director, Security in the State Department. Karibu Bwana Saka.
Cabinet Secretary, all protocols are observed. Good morning once again. As you've heard, my name is Thomas Saka, Director Security. I was privileged to chair this wonderful technical committee that has really done a lot of groundwork to come up with the implementation plan for the national government AP unit. And so today is a big day for us. Most of the Ngaos, if they had the opportunity to stand here before you, they have been crying for this unit for a long time, as the commandant has said. And today is a big day for us, that finally the day has come, that we are launching NGAPU. My committee reminded me that if I forget to acknowledge them, I'll be sanctioned very heavily. With your permission, sir, I'll request they stand up. We acknowledge both the Joint Committee from APS and the Ministry of Interior. We have the others who I'm not seeing here. We have Mr. Mohamed Bare, is the Secretary Peace Building and Conflict Management. We have Mr. Dixon Magotsi, who is the Secretary for Policy and Liaison. Mr. Kefa Onyiso is our Director for Legal. Madam Zipora Mutai is the Director for HR. Mr. Osman Chesaro is our planning chief economist. Mr. Jackson Kangani is the Director of Operations, Kenya Police Service, APS. Mr. Kamau, Director Reforms. Madam Renji from National Police Service Commission. My brother, I'm forgetting the name, sorry, he's joined us recently. Correct. Of course, Dr. Masoud Mwini, Principal, who has been very close with us. Mr. Mutuma from APS, Mr. Odhiambo, and my brother, sorry, the name, I know I'll be sanctioned. There's somebody who facilitated us a lot who has refused to stand up. Commandant Bwana Lomatu, we have also worked very closely with him. And another team, we are a very big team who worked behind the scenes. I don't know what is happening with my, pardon? Oh, is there a documentary? Okay, I'm told to hold my horses. Thank you, sir. As among, just to mention, as among the first team which went to do an assessment in Haiti, sir. And what we found in Haiti, a few of us were a bit skeptical. But as the commandant has said, and many of us were proud of our teams in APS, they have been able to do beyond expectations. Before our teams went to Haiti, we've had 9 failed UN missions in Haiti. So this is the 10th mission that we're having, led by the Kenyan contingent, and they have done quite well. So I'll not take a lot of time. I had been asked to do 5 slides. I have about 10 slides, but I'll try to run through them very fast so that I take the shortest time possible. So this is the scope of our presentation, basically giving a small narrative on where we've come from, which the Governor Kinudi Mbugu has really talked about. What are the strategic objectives we're looking at? The strategic context which has defined the establishment of NGAPU, the situation analysis, what the need for establishment, the legal framework. We made sure that we are guided by the legal framework. NGAPU is anchored within the laws of Kenya. Then the functions, which are the issues of command and control, then the internal accountability and oversight, implementation plan, and conclusion. I should not take more than 10 minutes at most. So, national government administration was previously, before the promulgation of 2010 constitution, referred as the provincial administration. So the new constitution provided that it should be reformed to accord with the new constitution, and hence, after that, a legal framework was developed under the National Government Coordination Act to anchor the new national government administration in law. So it is an administrative and institutional framework. Basically, most of the coordination is at the county level for national government functions. County governments have 14 functions, the rest of the functions under constitutions, and the national government, which the county commissioners do chair on behalf of the executive. So according to the National Government Coordination Act, the cabinet secretary responsible may, with the approval of the president and by a notice in the Kenya Gazette, establish national government service delivery coordination units. currently, sir, these are the gazetted administrative units that we have in Kenya. I know on your desk you have requests for even more, especially from our members of parliament. If you look at the units which we have right now, vis-a-vis the number of gazetted police stations and police posts, you will see there's a need for, there's a vacuum, there's a gap. Most of the administrative units do not have police stations and police, and that is why there was a clamor to have NGAPU to be able to complement on areas where we do not have police stations operating and police. So in terms of the strategic context, which defined the clamor for the establishment of the national government administration police unit, the functions, the national government administration officers, as provided under the National Government Coordination Act of 2013, they coordinate national government across counties and across administrative units. In 2018, we were at Kenya School of Government, participated in that process whereby we had reorganization of the National Police Service, whereby we had 24,000 APS moved to general duty, and also APS was restructured to create the formed units only. So the 4 formed units. So that one left a very big gap within the field administration, because initially the enforcement unit that they were using in field administration was APS, and even hence even the name is derived from administration. So taking cognizance of this, sometime last year, our beloved president convened a meeting at Kenya School of Government with all national government administrative officers, whereby the chair made a passionate for the regional commissioners on behalf of NGAPU, made a passionate call for the re-establishment of NGAPU. And our president was gracious enough to grant this and to give direction. And that is when we started this journey towards the re-establishment of NGAPU. So what are we seeking for in terms of what are our strategic objectives? First of all, is to enhance security support in areas that have been called previously as ungoverned spaces. Areas whereby you'll find we have administrative officers, especially in the operation areas, in conflict areas. Some of them are not operating within the administrative units. Some of them you'll find they are operating within police stations. So those ungoverned spaces is what we are trying to cure by having NGAPU to support the field administration. And this, of course, will improve public safety. The issue of emergency response time will be much faster because of the proximity of the officers. And then, of course, the issue of enhanced strengthened collaboration and multi-agency cooperation in handling complex cases within the field administration. So we look at the situation analysis of, since 2018, the restructuring, the vacuum which was created with the withdrawal of 24,000 APS. We've had targeted attacks on administrative officers, assistant county commissioners, all the way down. A case in point, sir, is during the anti-government protests which were held last year, whereby we had the burning of the SCC's office in Kitengela. And even this week, sir, I think we've seen what happened in Malava sub-county, whereby the chief, the assistant chief who had intercepted cattle rustlers. The public withdrew the bodies, and they actually went and burned the assistant chief's house. So there's a lot of vulnerability within the field administrators who feel that they need to have that support backup once they are doing their lawful duties. So, as I said, sir, we made sure that Kenyans right now are very litigious people. We have Mheshimiwa Okiya Matata, who may take us to court if we don't work within the bounds of the law. So we made sure that everything that we do is anchored within the law. So we looked at the legal framework. Within our committee, there are members who are not here. We had representation from the Office of the Attorney General and the Kenya Law Reform Commission. And basically, and of course, the legal officers from our various services who were able to advise us that we are well within the law, and the IG is authorized to establish this unit under the National Police Service Act of 2011. So these are the legal we have from the Constitution. We have sections which support the establishment of the unit, from the National Government Coordination Act, from the NPS Act, from the National Police Service Commission Act, who is the employer, and especially on HR issues, and from Executive Order number 2 of 2023, which basically calls on NGAPU the coordination role. So the functions of NGAPU, so I may not need to emphasize, they are provided for within the National Police Service Act. So they'll be acting within the bounds of the NPS Act and the Constitution and supporting national government functions. In terms of command and control, the DIG APS will continue to lead. The Commandant in NGAPU will be answerable to the DIG APS, will be, of course, reporting to the IG. The directorate, we left it to the discretion of the IG to decide which level, whether it will be a senior AIG or what, or whoever, whichever rank that will lead, will command the units. In terms of internal accountability and oversight, so just as I've mentioned, sir, the usual as provided for within the law. And IPOA is also here, yes. So in terms of the rollout plan, sir, our proposal was that the initial phase, we recognize and cognizant of the fact that APS is short of 24,000 police officers. Recruitment has not been done in the last 3 years. We had requested through our officers from recruitment, which I think the PS will pronounce himself to, whereby we are proposing to an initial phase of 6,000 police officers in hotspot areas, strategic areas, which need immediate filling in. After that, we are proposing that in the next 3 years, it should be incremental to have a force of 19,500 in all administrative units, as the ones which you mentioned. Out of these, the SOPs to be developed for NGAPU to be able to work properly and to align to the NGAPU functions, and of course the retraining, because this is a new unit and they're going to carry out new functions. So of course we also proposing to develop an M&E framework just to monitor how the rollout is going on. There's some logistics which we are not able to mention here in terms of accommodation and other logistics which we'll need to work on to operationalize the unit. So, sir, we are glad that, as I said, we've seen the light at the end of the tunnel and we are finally here. The D-Day has come. We are confident that the rollout today is going to have a very big and positive impact in terms of delivery of our mandate in terms of national security. I thank you for listening to me, sir.
Thank you, Bwana Saka. So with your permission, we are now into speeches. And the first person to speak on behalf of the NGAPU is none other than the RC Nairobi area, Bwana Kate Mwansa.
Thank you. our Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Mukomen, our PS, Dr. Raymond Omolo, our Inspector General, Bwana Douglas Kancha, the DIGs, the Director DCI, the various chairmen of various commissions, honorable members of Parliament, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, good afternoon. Sir, with your permission, I want to speak on behalf of the NGAO, the team that is in the field, that is benefiting from this on behalf of the citizens. And for this, I want to take this opportunity to thank His Excellency the President for commissioning this process, which has culminated in today's launch. Indeed, the NGAPU officers had been affected quite a lot in the implementation of service delivery in the country. NGAPU officers provide a very, very vital link between government and the citizens. And to do so, and to implement various government projects and programs, particularly the projects and programs related to the bottom-up economic transformation agenda, had really been affected. And we feel that this had been caused by the separation between the NGAOs and the APS following the merger of the police and the APs. Now, with this reunification, we are very happy. We are very, very happy, and we appreciate. And we know that this one is going to mark a turning point in service delivery in this country, particularly in the implementation of those projects being undertaken by officers, particularly in the grassroots level, the chiefs and assistant chiefs, who are very vital in the fight against illicit brews, drugs, social order. We believe that we are going to benefit quite a lot from this reunification, so to speak. We also feel that in the implementation of the various programs, there was a big gap that had been created, which is what Saka has already mentioned, and this exposed officers, particularly the ones in the grassroots level, chiefs and assistant chiefs, to attacks while actually carrying out official duties, because they were very, very exposed. Now this is going to provide, this NGAPU is going to provide the vital support for security so that government projects, programs in the field can be implemented, so that we get rid of some of the vices that affect development in the country. So we are very, very happy indeed, and we are very elated. We know that the NGAO officers are also very vital in the peace and security committees at the grassroots level, and they require a bit of muscle, which will be provided by the support of the NGAPU officers now that NGAPU will be launched today. Also, to benefit from this is what I had mentioned, the fight against the illicit brews, the drugs, and generally the social order in the country. We are living in times where we are facing a lot of challenges in this country, where people have become very bold to an extent of, even to a point of even challenging the government officers, not only defying the orders, but actually going for the attack on government officers. So because chiefs and assistant chiefs at the grassroots level there understand and know these societies, and working under the supervision of the officers at the levels of SECs, DCCs, county commissioners, and RCs, since they know those communities, it is very easy now to manage and enforce peace accords, peace agreements between various communities, and so on and so forth. So this is indeed one of the best things that has happened, and it's a gift from His Excellency that we really appreciate, that it's going to help to create the much needed social order. So on behalf of my colleagues, sir, I want to take this opportunity to appreciate this new policy, and I'm sure it is going to mark a turning point in how we manage our societies and how we mobilize our societies, how we coordinate national government business to implement the various government projects and programs. I would end with a request to the Inspector General, who is in charge of the command of the whole structure to also place the NPR under this NGAPU, because I know we already don't have enough officers. So the NPR can also be placed under the NGAPU to address the gap, particularly in the rural areas where we have that shortage of officers. So on behalf of my colleagues, sir, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very, very much, and also for allowing us an opportunity to say this. And I would request my colleagues from the National Government Administration, all of us, please let's stand up as appreciation to His Excellency and our Minister and our peers and our colleagues. Let's salute one salute for this one, because it's a turning point. We appreciate the reunification of the Ngao and the APS. Salute. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I think we'll have crowned that na makofi ile yetu ya samani. Si ni kweli? Especially to His Excellency the President for having. Moja. Pili. Tatu. Funga. Asante sana. The next speaker is the DIG APS, Bwana Gilbert Masengeli. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Our Chief Guest, sir, with the Cabinet Secretary for Interior. Allow me to write on the protocols already observed. Good morning. It is with great honor that I address you today during this significant occasion of unveiling and the official launch of the Administration Police Roadmap for service delivery, revitalization, and the National Government Administration Police Unit NGAPU mandate document. It is also momentous since we have the privilege of Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior and National Administration presiding over this launch and the official closure of the Senior Administration Police Commanders Conference. The conference brought together the regional administration police commanders, unit commanders, the commandants of our training institutions, and the directors of the administration police headquarters. Thank you, Asiri, for finding time to grace this occasion, sir. The conference theme is transforming the police to meet service delivery expectation. This is epic, a game changer, and mark new beginning for the service to up its game on how we deliver services to the Mwananchi. This event marks a new chapter in the advancement of policing services with the ultimate goal of ensuring safer and a more secure nation. This mission is possible. During this conference, we focused on equipping our senior commanders with new operational managerial concepts, while also keeping them informed about emerging security leadership trends. The interactive session provided an opportunity to share challenges from different regions and collectively develop a practical solution. The National Police Service leadership, led by the Inspector General of Police, led by the Deputy Inspector General KPS, Director DCI, offered insightful lessons to the commanders. This discussion have been invaluable in shaping forward a looking strategy for the service. Distinguished guests, today, the launch of Administration Police Roadmap to Service Delivery Revitalization Strategy 2025-2028 underscores our wavering commitment to enhancing service delivery with Administration Police Service and National Police Service. To a larger extent, the roadmap is well thought out and culmination of deliberate efforts to enhance service delivery. It has been carefully aligned with the National Police Service Strategic Plan 2023-2027, Strategic Framework for Implementation of Reform in the National Police Service 2024-2028. the National Police Service Act 2011, and other relevant legislations that amplify our mandate. This framework provides foundation for efficient, transparent, and accountable service that prioritizes professionalism, community trust. It is with great pride that we take a bold step forward by launching the revitalization roadmap, which represents comprehensive and strategic approach to addressing challenges that we face on a daily basis while unlocking the immense potential of our police service. It is not merely a document, but a call to action, a framework for real, actionable, measurable change. It is a blueprint that will guide us in transforming administration police service into an institution that Kenya can trust, depend on, respect, and rely upon. Our roadmap also focuses on capacity building for officers, equipping them to address key responsibilities such as border protection, stock theft prevention, security to critical installations, among other operational and managerial responsibilities bestowed on them. This event provides an opportunity to all of us to redefine, reimagine, chart a new discourse in policing, particularly our role as custodian of public safety and protective security. Today, we shall also witness the launch of the National Government Administration Police Unit NGAPU as presented. The unit will actualize functions of administration police as provided under Section 27 of the National Police Service Act 2011, specifically rendering support to government agencies in the enforcement of administrative functions and the exercise of lawful duties. Coordinating with complementing government agencies in conflict management and peace building. The launch of the National Government Administration Police Unit is a mean to this end and is not a mean feat. It is a force multiplier in service delivery. Let me remind us all that decisions we make and actions we take will shape the future of policing in Kenya. Let us remember, behind every badge and uniform is a promise to serve, protect, uphold the values of justice and fairness. As we embark on this transformation journey, let us do so with unwavering resolve. Together, we can build a police service that not only meets but exceeds service delivery expectations. As I conclude, I wish to reiterate that Administration Police Service is dedicated to evaluating, improving its performance continually, work in collaboration with other sister services, other government agencies, and members of the public to enhance service delivery. As we revitalize, we commit to ensure that we remain adaptable and responsive to the needs of our citizens. We are resolute to rally behind Inspector General's agenda and clarion call to make police stations centers of excellence in police operations. We shall live this reality. Lastly, I wish to thank the Cabinet Secretary, the Principal Secretary, senior government officials from the Office of the President, NPS leadership, National Police Service Commission, and all our partners and stakeholders for your continued support. Together, we will achieve the vision of a safe, secure, prosperous nation. Thank you. May God bless you.
Thank you, DIG, APS. At this juncture now, I want to call upon the chairperson, IPOA, Ahmed Isaka San CBS, make his remarks, and if there are staff from IPOA also, you can introduce them.
Good morning, everyone. Bismillah. The chief guest, the cabinet secretary, the PS, Dr. Molo, the IG, DIG, all other protocols observed. I come here on behalf of Independent Police Oversight Authority, and mine is just to welcome the launch of these important instruments today. When I see the NGAPU, Ngao and NGAPU, those of us who took part in the constitution-making process in Kenya from 2000, you know, the Yashpal Guy Commission, we used to have a very strong professional administration, you know, from the PC, the DC, the DO, the chief, and they had APs working with them. And there was a lot of concern then during the multi-party elections that the chiefs and the DOs and the DCs were too powerful. They had become very powerful, and we had to cut their wings or their horns. So there was a lot of pressure to disband the entire police, provincial administration. I don't know if you're old enough to remember this. And some of the people from the national security argued that it is very important for governance in the country to maintain the provincial administration in one form or another. And so we changed the name now from provincial administration to national government administration unit. And now we have the national government administration police unit, NGAPU. So we are bringing back the DO and the DC with this AP. It's like going back to your ex. We have brought back the old marriage, but I think under a new constitutional dispensation, under a new, I think now we can do better. We have been streamlined, we have been professionalized. There's a new constitution, there are new laws. So the fears of the people of Kenya about too much power in the provincial administration has been checked. And so this is the best time to work with Ngao and Kapu. And we at IPOA, we have a new board. We were appointed just under 1 month ago, and we are still trying to learn the ropes. As you all know, IPOA was established to provide civilian oversight over the police operations. Our constitution recognizes that we must have civilian oversight over the national security administrations. And IPOA was formed for that purpose. But it's also been set up to help make the police force professional, professionalize the police force. We are not spies against the police. IPOA is not a pain in the neck for the police. It is to help the IG, the leadership, and the people of Kenya to make the police force professional and deliver service for the people of Kenya. And we came into office at a time when there was a lot of, we were sworn in on the 10th of December last year. And once I was appointed, there was a lot of abductions. Almost, I think it was quite too many. And somebody told me, you know, you have left IEBC and you thought you were going to a very quiet place in IPOA, but it's like jumping from the frying pan to the fire to go and now oversight the police. But the IG has assured all of us in Kenya that the police was not doing the abductions. Police are there to arrest and take them to court and make sure that they are held account. I want to say that we thank very much the IG, because once I came into office and my new board, we talked to our staff, we got a lot of briefings, and one of the things that they told us was that there was a lot of resistance to cooperation from police, especially in the regions. And so we asked the IG to helped that. He has issued a circular. Thank you very much, IG. We look forward to working with you, all of you, and I want to wish you well. I thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair Ipoa. At this juncture, I want to invite the Chairman, National Police Service Commission, to introduce the commissioners present and staff and make his remarks. Karibu, Chair.
Thank you. Our Cabinet Secretary, Kipchumba Murkomen, our peers for Interior and National Government Administration, our Chair of the Parliamentary Committee, Security, IG, and all the senior commanders present, my colleague, Chair for IPOA, all senior officers here, all protocols observed, good afternoon. CS, allow me to join the queue in this very auspicious occasion that two great reforms are happening in this country. I want to agree with the observation by my colleague Chair Ipoa that is a reunion of X. And when you are X, you reunite, there is too much love and too much feeling of where did you go? Why did you leave me? So there is a mood of celebration, yes, even you can see it. These two people have come from very far. Allow me to say that in this occasion, the National Police Service Commission is fully represented here. I want, with your permission, you allow me to introduce my CEO and the Commissioner IPOA, Commissioner National Police Service Commission. Peter Lele is the Chief Executive Officer, National Police Service Commission. Commissioner Edwin Cheruget is a commissioner in charge of appeals, policy, and legal affairs. And we also came with our manager, legal, one of our staff. I saw her there, Wairimo, who has been in the technical committee preparing this document. As CS, I cannot forget that I also come from this region. And therefore, I have a duty on behalf of many leaders in this region, from Lunga Lunga to Kiunga, to invite you and welcome you here so that we can enjoy a weekend together here with you and your delegation. I want to just mention one thing, that having been there over the journey of reforms, I want to thank His Excellency the President for braving major and difficult reforms that in the past we have not been able to manage. One, under this administration, we got under his leadership, His Excellency the President initiate reforms in the National Police Service, which for long we had struggled with, and we have seen a lot of success and a lot of things moving faster than they used to move. Secondly, this one for today is again another major milestones. And as you can see, CS, the law had no problem as we have been taken through by Saka. All the provisions were there. I was part of putting section 10H in the functions of Administration Police Service. That even as we transit to a new constitution dispensation, the Administration Police Service must render support to national administration. That has always been there. But the credit that goes to this government and His Secretary President is getting that reform rolling. And this has happened today. I think from the short documentary you have seen here, and you have seen the men and women who are coming into this a new unit that we have seen, the preparedness and the capacity to do the job is already there. It is not long. It's only about 10 or so years that the separation has been. And you know, CS, separation of 10 years with your ex, you don't forget how he looks like, how she smiles, how she gets angry, how she gets happy. So things are easy here. I can see the APs here. They know from this side. So it's going to be much more easier to get going. And one of the things from the National Police Service Commission that I've seen from presentation, I've seen 2 actions which I want to ask the CEO to schedule in our February commission meeting because they need commission minute. One, we have to determine transfers of the first 6,000 to move from where they are to this new unit. I can assure you, CS, under my chairmanship and with the CEO here, that item will pass when it comes to the commission. The other quick action that I've seen there is for already approved establishment of the National Police Service under the APS. We need to review that establishment so that we can accommodate an additional strength of 19,500. Again, as a function of the commission to approve establishments and the optimal strength so that they can fill gradually, I want to assure you that in February, CEO, make sure that is in the agenda, and under my chairmanship, that we will give approval so that we all operate within the law. The how and the numbers and how you'll absorb them is upon the command. Once it's within that framework, then the IG will be able to determine how many. But having been there and having seen this dispensation, it will be good that the first 6,000, if they are found within the existing establishment, the more new ones, the others also come from the new ones that we recruit. Because there are certain doctrinal foundations of this relationship that we may have lost the last few years, especially during pass-out parade. We've had several pass-out parade without the national government administration presence in the college. In the past, 3 weeks before completing training, all the national government administration officers would come into the college, wear in their gear, and do a few drills to passing out together with the officers. And when they leave following their commander to the station at the sub-county, county, and other administration units. That is a very important ceremony for the life of a disciplined person. He must be very clear, I leave following who and where orders and direction will be coming from. These few areas, the experts are here, and I'm glad today we invited the doctrinal fathers of this relationship, our first commandant there, Kinodi Ambogua, and Omar Shurie. We've had a long journey with them on this, and the invitation of these 2 senior citizens here tells you how serious in the starting of this unit and a lot of effort that have been taken. In conclusion, I want to assure you, CS, that the National Police Service Commission will give the ministry full support in these reforms and in many others that are lined up, and that will ensure that CS, you will not fail. we have seen you in other ministries. We've seen the energy you introduce. You yourself, just the way you are energy. Eh? You are energy. And this team here loves energy. They love to see the vigor. So I can see the enthusiasm, I can see the preparedness, and I can tell you, with the police officers, they never disappoint. It is a difficult, a far and wide-reaching ministry, but also the best and the easier to run, because these are disciplined people. What they know is orders and direction. If that is available and the leadership is there, you can be sure. And with me around this, yes, count on me and my team of commissioners to succeed together. I want to stop there in the interest of time and really congratulate the teams that are already getting into this. And I'm sure the Inspector General is equal to this task. And CS, I assured you when we met at Racecourse that hii maneno alikuwa nasikia chairman na Inspector General. Hakuna, imekwisha, ilikwisha. Yeah? It was sorted once and for all, because it was about individuals, not about the law, not about the frameworks. So Kanja, we are working very well. I'm on call, on duty anytime. And I've told him, even if we want a commission meeting at midnight, these commissioners will wake up, because we work for a disciplined service and we must give decisions that are required in a timely manner and in the way they are expected. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Chair. At this juncture now, I want to invite the Inspector General of the National Police, Douglas Kanja. Karibu sana.
Thank you very much, my good friend. The cabinets. Thank you very much once again. Thank you very much. Now the mic is on. However, my voice is also loud enough, can be heard from where I stand, even without the benefit of the microphone. Our Cabinet Secretary, Minister of Interior and National Administration, the Honorable Kipchuma Murkomen, our PS, Internal Security and National Administration, Dr. Raymond Omoro, the Chairman, National Police Service Commission, members of Parliament present, and also the Deputy Chair for the Committee of Parliament responsible for security, the two DIGs, Mr. Masegeri, responsible for the Administration Police Service, and Mr. Eriud Langat, responsible for the Kenya Police Service, and Mr. Mohamed Amin, the Director DCI, or the senior officials from the Ministry of Interior, the regional commissioners present with us here this afternoon, senior police commanders present, all other members of GAO, retired senior officers, invited guests, members of various security and intelligence committees with us here this afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Our Cabinet Secretary, sir, we are deeply honored to have you grace this very important occasion, which doubles up as a culmination of a week-long conference for senior administration police service officers, and also a ceremony for the launch of the National Government Administration Police Unit, NGAPU. Your presence here today, and also the strong government delegation in this meeting, underscores the goodwill, commitment, and the professional stewardship that the ministry is privileged with us as we all work to lead our respective services to Mwananchi. As members of the National Police Service, we really appreciate the support that we continue to receive from your office and the cooperation from other sectors of the government. Earlier in the week, I engaged with the Administration Police Service senior commanders during the conference that is just being concluded today, where we discussed a number of issues that can be improved in the overall National Police Service transformation agenda. We also reflected on the journey the police service has had this far, highlighting the gains made, the challenges encountered, and the opportunities that are untapped. As we endeavor to become a well-grounded 21st century professional police service, by and large, the National Police Service has been dutifully firm and unwavering in patriotic discharge of its mandate. The prevailing security, peace, and order in the country is a product of efforts by gallant men and women in uniform who work closely with other agencies for the sake of the national security. On this, I also acknowledge the close working relationship we have with the national government administration officers across all the cadres. In the recent past, some parts of the country have witnessed attempts by criminal gangs to wreak havoc on members of the public. In the coast region, for example, Paga Boys and other infamous gangs have been subdued by police officers, and several of its members are currently being processed before the courts of law. Such criminal elements, alongside other offenders, must have their day before courts to curb the menace. The National Police Service remains totally alert, unwavering, and fully committed to protection of life and property, as well as rights and freedoms for all persons in the country. In so doing, I call upon all police officers to be resolute and to render policing services without fear or favor. All offenders must be brought to account for their acts and omissions as provided by the law. I also urge all Kenyans to continue abiding by the law and to support security agencies as need be. Finally, I reiterate the National Police Service readiness to support other government agencies as we deliver under the whole government approach. The goal is to address issues and provide solutions to the various challenges that we face as Kenyans. In this regard, the launch of the National Government Administration Police Unit will provide yet another nexus for collaboration. I thank you. And maybe just before I conclude, let me also mention that going forward in the reform agenda of the National Police Service, we have a Veterans and Foreign Hills Bill that is already being looked into by our legal teams. And this is an area that I'm sure the CS is also going to discuss, the PS is going to discuss, because that is what is going to link us with the present and even those who are there. Because even in other democracies that we have seen, for example, trainers of newly recruited officers is done by officers who have retired from the service. But in our case, that does not happen because we don't have a rule, a regulation, an act that can be able to guide us in that direction. And that's the reason why, personally, I'm very happy that all of us, we are here, together with the members of Parliament, who will eventually have the bill to, to table it in Parliament. And that is a way that will deepen the reform agenda in the national police service. And finally, for all the officers who have been promoted on merit in the national police service, they are all required to attend a development course so that now they can actually be prepared to serve at that level. Because my belief is that an officer who is well-trained led us the service from a point of knowledge. So we are calling upon for all those who have been promoted, we request the VIPs to release them so that, as per our program, so that they can be able to attend that very, very important role. Otherwise, our agenda in the National Police Service, myself as the Inspector General, I want by the time I leave this service, we want to ensure that police stations becomes the center of excellence of police operations, where the service to Mwananchi is offered. I know reaching there is not a walk in the park. We need everybody. We require everybody. And here we have a very, very effective CS who will be able to drive that agenda because it is in our transformation agenda. It's actually in our roadmap that was launched by the president so that at the end of the day, we can be able even to report a case to a police station without going to the police station, as long as you have a smartphone, because very soon we are going to launch the digitized OB, very, very soon. Most of the police services, the services rendered by the police, are going to be digitized. And the programs have been rolled out. And that way, we are going to make sure that the police becomes better. The police serves the public in a better manner. So these are some of the agendas that are already lined up to ensure that the reform journey is well grounded within the policing services. Otherwise, thank you very much. And once again, welcome to the Coast Region for this very, very important purpose. Asanteni sana.
Thank you, Wanaiji. I want to terminate there, sir, and I want to invite, but before I invite her, the past national administration. My name is Jacob Narengo. Maybe people are wondering who is this Jacob Narengo. For the time being, he's the Secretary Internal Security. Welcome, Madam Pass.
Thank you very much, Mr. Narengo. Our guest of honor is our Cabinet Secretary, our Principal Secretary, IG, National Assembly Chair, in charge of National Security, Committee on National Security and National Administration, all chair, CEOs, DIGs, and all my colleagues in service. Good afternoon. This is a very emotional, exciting moment for us all, for the twins that were separated and that are successfully coming back today. I want to just singularly congratulate our teams that have worked on this up to this. It was a dream that didn't look like it was going to come true. But I also want to singularly acknowledge our Principal Secretary. Sir CS, we didn't have to struggle very, very much like we did in the past to be heard, to be listened to. We have a listening PS, a reformist, and that is, we owe this day to him. Of course, when you joined us, Bwana CS, we were extremely excited when we first heard you. Not what we knew from your other duties, other duty ministries, but when you came to us, you just blended in and fitted in, and we are very, very sure and happy that you're equally a reformist, a listening CS. With that, we will go very far. This is actually what we were waiting for, and the IG will have fewer headaches going forward. Because administration police, these are administration police. If you like, administrative police. And administrators who really is the administration of the country, have been, even from the history that Masood took us through, Siamese twins, been joined at the hip. And so coming together, definitely, after 15 years, we'll need a lot of work also to cure, the separation, like it has been said before. But that is a walk in the park for these gentlemen and ladies through the training that we're going to see restored at the Administration Police College. So, and sir, we want to thank you because everybody's in the room. Everyone that we need here. CS, you have your house full. And this again is attributed to the uniting aspect that our Principal Secretary came with into this State Department. Before I invite our next speaker, who is also very key to our performance, I would like to acknowledge some key players also, stakeholders who are with us, but we forgot to introduce them. We have SUPChem, and they're not here by mistake. SUPChem are here also representing the community. SUPChem, we have Olenado. Of course, Hamisi Mwabuto led us in a prayer. Thank you very much. Then we have the Office of the Ombudsman representatives. If you could kindly stand. We have Aisha Mohammed, Samantha Agwin-Skodek, and Eric Ishaga. They're behind you, sir. Yes. They're right behind you. I want to also acknowledge Banis. I know she's probably been named Secretary Administration NPS. And we have Philip Onkundi from National Commission, Cohesion Commission. Then we have Director NTC, very new, Mr. Keegan. I would now like to invite the representative of Chair, Mheshimiwa, please come and give us your address.
Our Cabinet Secretary, Ministry of Interior and National Administration, our PS, IG, both DIGs, Clerk of the National Assembly, Chairpersons of the various commission, IPOA, Regional Commissioners present, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Let me start by acknowledging the presence of the Clerk of the National Assembly, Mr. Njoroge. Tumpigie makofi. He is here with us. Thank you and welcome. I stand here to represent the Committee of Administration and Internal Security in the National Assembly, and of course the I'm a politician. I'm not, for the time being, you can just keep it off. I don't have any notes, kindly. Okay, thank you. So I stand here as a representative of the Committee on Administration and Internal Security in the National Assembly, and of course, the National Assembly in general. And as you are aware, the National Assembly plays various roles. Among them is legislation. We also appropriate funds. That means we also deal with the budget. We also represent our people, including yourselves, in various forms within the National Assembly. And if you look at those roles, you realize the very important role that the National Assembly is going to play in the success of the revitalization of service delivery in the administration police, and also in the success of NGAPU. In the course of our responsibility in the National Assembly, we have interacted with yourselves, police officers, administration police, and national police service in various capacities, right from the IG to the lowest level. And I want to say that we do recognize the very important role that you play in this republic, in the provision of security, maintenance of law and order. And probably at this juncture, I want to thank you, the IG, and the entire security officers. On the 25th of June last year, were it not for the security officers, the police officers, putting a life in the line, the National Assembly would have been a bloodbath. Many members of Parliament would have been killed on that particular day. And indeed, this nation called Kenya would have turned into something very different. So I want to thank you. Just clap for yourself. Help me to clap for yourself, because you did play a very crucial role, and we want to recognize you for that. Well, we play our role in terms of budgeting. We're also the ones who are fighting for you. The last salary increment for the police officers, which have taken forever, we are the ones who went into the budget, and we had to make cuts from all over to ensure that we get some money to be able to put into your salary increment. In the course of interacting with you, we are aware of the living conditions that you live in. We are aware of the challenges that you face in terms of even equipment, and indeed, sometimes even when we are talking with the PS and even the IG, when they come asking for budget, we actually feel for you. And I want to stand here and assure you that as a National Assembly, we are going to do our best to make sure, because we are pushing the government, for example, on the issue of housing. The police housing has to change. The conditions that you live in, really, it's a big sacrifice for this nation. And the government needs to do something, Bwana CS, for our officers. We'll also look into other areas, providing equipment and all that. So, on the issue of NGAPU, we also represent the people out in the village. And as has been said by Isaac, initially we had the provincial administration, and whereas the new constitution brought in some change and the merger of the police into the National Police Service, we removed the police from the provincial administration. It is the Mwananchi who has been crying now, because every other time a crime has been committed and they report to the chief. The chief will say, I have no command. The police officers under me, you know, they will not respond. You have to report to the OCS. You know, it's a back and forth. And so security situation in our villages has actually deteriorated. So the issue of NGAPU is something that we have been fighting for. We have been talking with the PS every other time. It has been a national anthem of the committee, because we really wanted it back, so that what was envisioned in the Vision 2030, the issue of police and community working together to ensure we are able to provide security, we'll be able to bring it back. So I want to give assurance that for us in the National Assembly, we also are aware that we need officers to be put in NGAPU. We are aware there has not been recruitment for the last 3 years. There is actually a big gap. Of course, there are police officers who have retired. There are some who have passed on. There are some who are ailing, and means the force is being depleted every other day. We are actually pushing not just recruitment of 5,000, and Kenodia here has the chairman, National Police Service Commission, needs money for recruitment. We have been saying we want 10,000 for a start, and I think that's where we need to go. I want to assure you, as the National Assembly, we are going to do our part to provide funds so that we can be able to do the recruitment, to be able to give money again to the Inspector General and the National Police Service, so that they can be able to do training, and we are able to proceed like that. So for me, let me just give assurance. You may need legislation for some of these things to be able to work. The National Assembly is in place, and we assure you of our support as a committee and the National Assembly. When it comes to budgetary, and Bwana CS, let me say it here, we'll also need cooperation from the executive, and that is the treasury. Because I think we have a traditional way of budgeting that has been kind of a problem, that they come with tailor-made budget. Even when the committee wants to push that we need funds here and there, you go back to treasury, they want to go back to whatever they had decided. We need to change it so that when we say we need money for officers, we are able to provide that money, because we have met the IG and all the others, and it is us who are more or less understanding the problems that we are facing. So on behalf of the National Assembly, let me assure you of our support to ensure that the revitalization in the Administration Police Service, and indeed in the entire National Police Service, and also the success of NGAPU, where now security, mashinani will be provided. We as members of Parliament, through CDF, we are also out there. We are doing construction of police posts, police stations, and all that. That means we are giving you support, and we are going to continue giving you support more and more moving forward. So let me say thank you, assured of our support. God bless you, and we hope that all this is going to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mheshimiwa. SARS, yes, when I stood, my colleagues here were over there as well. They were looking at me with a lot of expectation. I think they were expecting a very big speech from me, for obvious reasons. But today it's just emotions. I actually am shedding. I'm shedding a tear. And I'll break the protocol for once. Na walimu wangu wataniruhusu tu. Walimu wangu, our elders. And sir, for your information, we also have elders. Kwa upande huu, we have a number of elders. We just forgot to invite them. But I think Kate and myself and a few others, and even Commandant Bugwa, can join me in representing them. Just to say that we are happy to be elders. We'll even be happier. We are happier now, and we're very comfortable. We were very, very uncomfortable with the way the country was going. The state, of insecurity. But today we are very, very sure and we'll be happy to go home to safety, to effective chiefs and assistant chiefs, well supported, well covered, to secure this nation and to maintain peace. We've done it before. We've done it before. Most of us sitting here do remember. I know when the chairman posed a question, were you, I think it was Isaac, do you remember the days of provincial administration and administration police? I think most of us here do remember. And we are going back there, but even better prepared. And the protocol I'm breaking is just to request maybe the exceptional CS to give a standing ovation to our Principal Secretary, Dr. Raymond Omolo, as he comes to make his remarks and also invite our CS to make his remarks. Kwanza, NGAPU hoye! NGAPU hoye! Hey, jameni. That is a protocol I'm breaking. Mimi naenda nyumbani, so I'm allowed. NGAPU je? Ngao? Tuinuke tafadhali, tumkaribishe Principal Secretary wetu. Na makofi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Let's be seated. The Cabinet Secretary for Interior and National Administration, the Honorable Kipchumba Murkomen, the Inspector General of Police, Mr. Douglas Kanja, the Chair of the National Police Service, the Chair of IPOA, the Clerk of the National Assembly, the Secretary Administration and Accounting Officer of the National Police Service, Madam Banis, the two Deputy Inspector Generals of the Kenya Police Service and APS, senior members and colleagues, the regional commissioners, commanders, friends, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. The Honorable CS, today is a very big day for all of us, and today is your big day, having come to this ministry, and I think the first major engagement that had all of us and the whole country excited was when we were sending the third contingent of our police officers to Haiti. And you made very powerful comments and remarks, encouraged the team, and we can all, for once, get to appreciate how these officers, these patriotic Kenyans, are making us proud. And today, again, we are gathered here to witness not just a major milestone in the administration of government services by the setup of the National Government Administration Unit to support the National Government Administration officers, but we are also launching what the Administration Police Service, or the members of the National Police Service, are calling the service delivery revitalization for the Administration Police Service. And I want to congratulate the Inspector General of Police because of his leadership, together with the head of the Administration Police Service, for thinking through and cascading what was launched by His Excellency the President at the end of last year, which is the strategic plan for the National Police Service. At the same time, we have an opportunity to bring all the players within the security sector together, including the independent constitutional offices, the IPOA, the National Cohesion and Integration Commission, the National Police Service Commission, and a number of all the other entities, both within and outside government. The Honorable CS allow me to appreciate the partners who have worked with us this journey. A number of them have made it possible for us to be here today. There's a training, the workshop that has gone on throughout the week, but they've also supported us on a number of occasions. I would want to make specific mention of the UNDP, the British government, through the Reinvent program that has really worked closely with all of us as a ministry and as a government to make it better for us to serve the nation. I would want to also just re-emphasize that when His Excellency the President came to office, one of the first assignments was to set up the Maraga Task Force that was looking into some of the challenges that we've had within our security services. As we stand here today, as I stand here today, there were several reforms that were identified out of that task force. And one of those reforms was on issues to do with administrative reforms. To date, we have implemented 76% of those administrative reforms, which also touch on some of the things that Honorable Kahangara has spoken to, and we appreciate the Honorable Kahangara and the committee that he serves in, which oversights us in Parliament. And I also want to, in a special way, also appreciate the clerk of the National Assembly because he continues to partner with us and support us. Because this is your day, I would have gone on and on, but allow me just to mention two things before I invite you to speak to all of us. Is that within the National Police Service, we have the Administration Police Service and the Kenya Police Service. And the team has gone into great extent to speak to the history, particularly of the Administration Police Service and the coming together with the National Government Administration so that we can better bridge the gap that exists in policing, and particularly the aspect of community policing, so that the public begin and continue to look at us as part of them, so that then we're able to have better relations and engagement and ability to resolve conflicts as and when they arise, and also to embark on peace building. My last point is, what are the expectations for the Administration Police Service and also the new unit? And the structure has been well enumerated. There are certain things that you will be able to pronounce yourself on, and our role as officers who support and serve with you as our leader in the ministry is that we'll be able to take those directions forward so that we deliver for His Excellency the President, his administration, and the people of this republic. With those many remarks, may I ask that we be all upstanding as I invite the Honorable Cabinet Secretary to speak to us. Karibu.
PS, Dr. Raymond Omolo, the Principal Secretary for Internal Security and National Administration, the IG of National Police Service, Mr. Douglas Kanja, the Chairperson of the National Police Service Commission, Eliud Kinuthia, our accounting officer in the National Police Service, Bernice Lemedeket, the chairperson of IPOA, our deputy IGs, DCI, commanders, commissioners, regional commissioners, county commissioners who are here, senior officers who are all here, including, and more importantly, our veterans who are here. That is Governor, Comptroller, Commandant, Kinuthia, DC, PC, including, if you really have served your country to that level, you must be very proud of yourself. I hope you are writing a book, Mr. Kinuthia. Yeah. Mr. Shurie, who is here, also one of our veterans, who are here again. And Commander Chepkaitanyi, retired also, who are here, who are all veterans on that part, and the veterans on the side of the administration. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon once again. First of all, you look very, for us who have been working with civilians, you look very scary. You know? It's until we see you people with a uniform is when we see the government is here. And sometimes when one of you visits me in the office, there's a day when I just reported the office, the IG came to see me. So when he was walking on the corridor, I was like, because he was wearing a suit and a tie. So I was like, but this guy looks familiar, who is this? So then I said, oh yeah, it's you, the IG. The uniform alone makes you have certain authority and an identity that cannot be forgotten. So I just want to start from here that you all look very good, and thank you very much for the very warm welcome that you've given me since I came to the ministry. Of course, starting with my friend, the PS. We are so lucky with PS Dr. Omolo for having been campus mates and together, being put together to work together and being friends for over 20 years and having a chance to work together in the same ministry. I hope that friendship will contribute to the teamwork that our veteran Shuria said about leadership in this sector. It's my pleasure joining you here as we launch the Administration Police Service Roadmap to Service Delivery Revitalization 2025 to 2028, and as we also launch the National Government Administration Police Unit, otherwise known as NGAPU. I am also delighted to close the Senior Commanders Conference, which has been highly interactive and insightful. Through robust discussions on leadership, integrity, community policing, personal finance, among other themes, we have set the stage for an all-round review of the progress we've made to inform the strategies of strengthening of our security and security systems. During this conference, under the theme, Transforming the Police to Meet Service Delivery Expectations, we have ignited a candid conversation on implementation of the police service roadmap to service delivery revitalization. The 2025 to 2028 roadmap outlines strategic objectives that the Administrative Police Service will implement in order to enhance its efficiency and operational effectiveness. It aligns Administration Police Service strategies to the current National Police Service Strategic Plan of 2024 to 2028, the recommended Maraga Task Force reforms in the strategic framework for the implementation of reforms in National Police Service, the Kenya Prison Service and National Youth Service for 2024 again to 2028, and the broader national security agenda. The strategic objectives are to enhance professionalism and accountability, strengthen the operational preparedness and logistical capacity, promote public trust and confidence, improve welfare and motivation of officers, and support government efforts in mitigating climate change. The expected outcome include effectiveness of the administration police service, motivated service personnel, improved operational preparedness and logistical capacity, close working relationship with members of the public, and adoption of environmentally friendly guidelines for the service. I commend the Administration Police Service for placing investment in technology, infrastructure, equipment, and capacity to the core of this very important roadmap. In today's rapidly evolving digital landscape, many offenses and security threats are enabled by digital technology. The ability to detect, disrupt, deter, and investigate these threats depends on our capacity to operate effectively in a high-tech environment. I bring you an assurance from His Excellency the President that he is committed to supporting you and us together in the realization of these objectives and plans for in this roadmap. I would also like to reassure you that we will work with your leadership to address issues around social welfare, training, better equipment, and other matters that concern a dignified working environment for you. Ladies and gentlemen, the government is fully cognizant of the fact that the Administration Police Service is an invaluable component of the security infrastructure in this country. Your contribution to the silencing of the guns in the North Rift and other parts of the country which have been prone to banditry is highly commendable. And I want to really commend you for the good job you did as Administration Police Service, together with your colleagues in the entire National Police Service. You have been extremely instrumental in dealing with issues of cattle rustling. We have had, instances of recurrence, of small recurrence here and there, but I'm very happy working together with the IG that we are dealing with these issues. And small bits of problems here, the other day in Samburu, yesterday in Elgeyo Marakwet, the other day in Baringo, but I am very confident that this is the last part of the work we are doing to make sure that we get rid of all these elements that have terrorized the citizens of this country for many years. And to demonstrate the work you've done and the effectiveness of this work is extremely encouraging. Even after the attack yesterday, a small area there in Kerio Valley, that it is the members of the public from both sides of communities that are giving us names of specific individuals. And they are saying, go for these individuals, because they have come to trust the police officers, and they have come to trust that we will work and make sure that we get rid of these problems. You have also been instrumental in our fight against the terrorism, stabilizing disturbed areas, and securing Kenya-Somalia border. The government applauds and appreciates your effort in this endeavor. The history of the Administration Police Service is long. It's been shared. People are emotional about it, especially when it comes to the relation as an Administration Police Service. I saw Anne really very carried over. I saw the national for Ms. Ngetich. She was comparing this reunion to twins coming together. But the chair of National Police Service was more graphic. He told us, this is so sweet. It's like somebody meeting their ex. Since I've not had that experience, I'll leave it at that with what the chairman has said. So therefore, this is extremely, we have a long, very interesting history. Despite its long history, the Administrative Police Service, you have continued to contribute to the socio-economic development of our country, and you have not gone out of tune in this endeavor. As our society evolved, the service reinvented itself to meet the demands of time. The colonial power enacted the Village Headman Ordinance in 1902 to help bring the so-called native areas under government control. That marked the path of the present Administrative Police Service. In 1929, the enactment of the Tribal Police Ordinance paved the way for training, command, and armament of the native police. But it was not until 1958, with the passing of the Administration Police Act, when its role in policing was defined and expanded. After the 2007-2008 post-election violence was a major defining moment for our country and its security system. Both the Waki Commission report and the panel of eminent African personalities led by Kofi Annan recommended a comprehensive reform of our policing. It's against this background that our third president, President Mwai Kibaki, formed the National Task Force on Police Reforms in the year 2009, also known as the Ransley Committee. The Ransley report concurred with the Waki report and on the need for far-reaching reforms in the police service to enhance operational capacity and accountability. In order to create a more professional, accountable, and public-trusting police service, the task force recommended the enhancement of police accountability and transparency through the establishment of the Independent Police Oversight Authority, improving police training and working conditions, and implementing a robust community policing strategy to foster a better relationship with the people. The recommendations informed the establishment of the remodeling of the Administration Police Service under the Constitution of Kenya, Article 243, 2B in 2010. There have been numerous security sector reforms since the promulgation of that constitution, including the 2018 restructuring of the National Police Service and implementation of the recommendation of now ongoing recommendations and implementation of Maraka Task Force report. Some of the reforms that were informed by the Maraka report carried out under the leadership of my predecessor, His Excellency the Deputy President, Professor Kithure Kindiki, and the PS here, Dr. Raymond Omolo, including the ongoing digitization of the police operations and salary increment of the lower cadre of officers of up to 20% effected last year, July. An additional 10% increment is also set to take place this year. The police service will also receive 3,000 new vehicles this year in order to improve their working conditions. And this will not only go to the police service. We are going to do it together. In fact, His Excellency the President, before I came here, said that he's working on increasing the vehicles to be 5,000 because we must take care of the Ngao officers up to the lower level. The police service and so will be receiving the same, including also improving the working conditions through the investment on new equipment within the next 2 years. The Maraka Task Force report also recommended the establishment of structure through regional, county, police division, sub-county, and locational formations to ensure that the National Police Service supports the national government administration in the performance of its security functions through deployment of general duty officer with clear command and reporting structures. Today, we are launching the National Government Administration Police Unit NGAPU to fill the gap in our security setup pursuant to Section 10H of the National Police Service Act of 2011. The main role of this unit is to support government agencies in enforcing their administrative functions, especially in conflict management and peace building. This unit will go a long way in supporting the national government administration officers across all administrative units in the country to enforce government directives, effect policies, and in maintaining law and order. The unit will especially come in useful when GAOs are engaged in such duties as settling land disputes, managing intercommunal conflict, and in fighting alcohol and substance abuse. The work of this unit is cut out. There is an immediate need to support other security organs in confronting security challenges threatening law and order. And maybe just to emphasize this, I was, over Christmas, I was at home with my chief, and the chiefs of the neighboring, within the division came to visit. And one of the things that they really graphically, and I was asking them because where I live, there is a den of changa at some corner. So I was asking the chief, why are you unable to deal with this issue? You know, why are you totally unable? So she tells me, first of all, we don't have a police station around here. So the police station is a bit far. The administrative units are such that we are still working on bringing them closer. But number two, told me that even if I wanted to deal with this den of changa, how will I do it? I live here and I do not have the capacity to be able to do this. The police station is far, the police officers are strained in the work they do. So he says, she told me, her and the pastor around, they have just become preachers. They just preach to people without the ability to, and the teeth to bite. So this kind of support is extremely important. And in some cases, you know, the police officers, the chiefs and assistant chiefs have been attacked. We all know that in conflict-prone areas and where people have land-related conflicts, if the chief does not have the capacity and the ability and the team to work together, they will not be able to deal with such situations. And again, by the time you are mobilizing police officers who are also strained in other work to come all the way to that locality to help, it becomes extremely difficult. And therefore, I think that this is extremely important. And we want to thank His Excellency the President for giving this direction and making sure that, and for the leadership which was in the ministry before, led by the Deputy President and the PS here, for having moved in very fast to implement that presidential directive to make sure that we have this unit established. I thank you, IG and the DIG and the team for actually making this possible. This is extremely transformative. It is really transformative. And I want to say we truly support. I was thinking, IG, that in line with this kind of transformation, I think we need to find also a place for the NPR around this concept, the NPR officers. We want all the NPRs across the country to be able to have clarity of command in terms of the persons they are going to report to. And I think this is the place that they are going to report to. And that is extremely also important for us. I think, has it gone off or something? Yeah, you will help me, Muthoni. So that is really what is extremely important for us as a ministry. If we do not reorganize the NPR, because they live within the community with the police, we need to find a way they will be directly linked to the this unit that has been established. And I want you to think through around this issue to see how they can be held accountable. Thank you, IG. Thank you very much. You know, I speak from experience. You know that. As a person from Kerio Valley region, this is a consistent daily conversation that we are dealing with. Let me use this opportunity also to raise an issue that the IG you have mentioned. We have also noted with deep concern a surge in criminal gangs that are mostly financed by politicians to intimidate, harass, and suppress their opponents. These gangs are armed with weapons such as crude weapons. And such gangs are now providing in quote security to leaders as they terrorize opponents in a show of might. This is beside mobilization and unleashing of what they call keyboard gangs to discredit and tarnish the image of other leaders in social media. It's worrying that instead of complementing the government in creating more jobs, opportunities, and other socio-economic empowerment initiatives for employed youth, some leaders are focused on creating mayhem through criminal gangs in pursuit for power. They are sowing seeds of discord and disharmony in total disregard of the rule of law. The country has faced persistent threats of organized criminal gangs that have sprouted across the country, specifically in urban areas or densely populated settlements, taking advantage of unemployed youth. Organized criminal gangs threaten our security and socio-economic progress by, among other ways, robbing our youth of their future by placing them on collision path with the law. These gangs are involved in murders, robbery, land grabbing, cyber crimes, illegal levies on public service transport, extortion, muggings, illegal oathing, illegal water and electricity connections. On the other hand, cross-border gangs are a threat to our safety and security. They are undermining our socio-economic transformation initiative by engaging in transnational crimes, including human trafficking, drug trafficking, smuggling of goods, among others. Some of these gangs, we know them. We know that in Nairobi, though we have worked very hard to suppress them, we have characters like Team Kazo, Jeshi Laala, operating in areas like Kamkunji and Starehe. We have gangs like Taliban and Kibrat J10. We have in this coast area, and I thank you for the good job you are doing, dealing with what they call themselves Team Mashamba, Tianazi, Wakali Kwanza, Wajukuu Wanyanya, Panga Boys, and many others. In eastern part of the country, you have Gaza gang in areas like Matungulu and Lemi gang. In central, we have a resurgence of Mungiki. And then in some parts of the country, like Rift Valley, you have some called Koita in Uasin-Gishu, Mauki, Watizedi in Nakuru, Mauki and Watizedi in Nakuru, Wafaransa in Nakuru. In Nyanza, the names become even more interesting, with names such as Mbogi, SWAT gangs. In other parts of Kisii, like Sungusungu, Chingororo, Amachuma. In western part of the country, characters like Angola Msumbiji, 40 brothers in Emuhaya, Ebusakami, and Maseno areas, and Spartan and Bulunda boys in Busia. In northeastern part of the country, you have some characters called Loma Ayan, and in Trans Nzoia, you have characters like 17 brothers, Mboki Mawe, and Team Russia, among others. Now, I've done this deliberately because though these gangs have been suppressed over time, we all know what happens when we are closer to elections. And when leaders are preparing, leaders, or let me say, I was avoiding to use the word politicians, but let me say leaders. I've been one before. Allow me to demonstrate the negative impact of these organized criminal groups in the case of Mungiki and Sungusungu gangs. Mungiki, for example, we all know remains one of the dreaded homegrown gangs in Kenya, yet it started innocuously in the late 1980s as a religious movement to promote traditional values. At the height of its malignancy in the early 2000s, it levied taxes in areas like Mathare, controlled matatus in Nairobi, Nakuru, and parts of central Kenya. They charged protection fees on businesses, enforced dress code on women, carried out open mass oathing, raped women and girls, banned matatus that refused to pay them, beheaded defectors, rival gang members, and those opposed to their activities, terrorizing communities, forcefully circumcised people, among other ills. Clashes with the police were rampant. Thousands of youth were members of this group in 2000 until around 2010. Individuals and communities are still scared from these criminal activities and group. Many youth wasted valuable time, leaving a legacy of unemployment, imprisonment, mental health challenges, and despondency. Sungusungu gang started as a community policing initiative in the early 2000s, but slowly morphed into a criminal gang. It perpetrated many human rights abuses, including assaults, public execution of crime suspects, setting alight older people they termed witches, and charging protection fees. The horrors of Mungiki and Sungusungu gangs must spur us to nip any criminal gang in the bud with resolve and vigor. To achieve that, we must enhance the intelligence gathering, carry out awareness campaigns against the membership to this organization, prosecute members and financiers, in addition to establishing more security presence in the affected areas. Kenya is a democracy where fair competition for position is guaranteed in law. Using gangs to gain undue advantage on the ballot runs counter to democratic ideals and leads to violence and bloodshed. It was out of such criminal gangs and incitement from politicians that our country plunged into chaos in 2007-2008. I have issued instructions to the Inspector General of Police to work tirelessly to make sure they track, crack down, and dismantle these criminal gangs with immediate effect. Public servants, including Ngao and police officers who will be found abetting these crimes, will be sacked and charged. On the other hand, politicians or financing or benefiting from the activities of these gangs are equally culpable. Irrespective of the office they hold or social status, we will prosecute them. I call upon the police to carry out thorough investigations to secure their conviction. We must act swiftly and decisively against these gangs because history has taught us that the price of doing nothing is catastrophic. I wanted to use the occasion to really tell you this because the other day I passed through Kitale a few months ago, and DIG Masengeli, you come from that region. Yeah, thank you very much. Kitale is not the Kitale, the place I schooled. You know, a small meeting, even a funeral. A family is preparing to bury their loved one. And suddenly, because one politician has come with his own gangs, another one comes with their gang, there is fight in a funeral, family members are scattered, you know, they cannot bury their loved ones. And so, we cannot live in such a country. It's not possible. It is absolutely not possible. If you are unable to persuade the people of Kenya to vote for you, we will not help you by looking the other way to enable you to create criminal gangs to terrorize your opponents and terrorize innocent civilians. I think IG, going to these next elections, and as we prepare for the same, it's important from the word go to make sure that we have a country that is a country of order. Thank you, IG. There is also the disease of provocative talk and ethnic profiling that is disguised as criticism of the government and political opponents. This will not be tolerated. As an administration, we are open to constructive criticism, including myself and the ministry, on service delivery. Indeed, it is the right of citizens to hold us accountable. This criticism, however, comes with a burden of responsibility. We cannot afford ethnic or other form of violence masked as holding leaders into account. The government will bring the full force of the law to bear on anyone talking negative ethnic sentiments. Mmenisikia hiyo kweli? I don't want you to fear anybody. I announced to the country that once I came to this ministry, behold, the old is gone, the new has come. You know that I can now not behave like an ordinary civilian. I have responsibility in terms of my association, my conduct, my utterances, and so it is important for all of us sitting here to be completely impartial in dealing with cases and utterances that may lead to ethnic tension. The idea that when a politician stands on a podium, instead of criticizing a public servant for who he or she is and for what she or he is unable to do, they start saying, oh, so-and-so, his community. How is my community related to my competence or incompetence? It's important for leaders to focus on the individual. The individual as a person, criticize them for who they are, fault their performances, and deal with it instead of lumping together an entire community and try to create provocation, especially in parts that in the past have had issues with ethnic provocative words that come from leaders. I wish to remind all leaders on the provisions of the Constitution and our laws, which include the NCIC Act, the Penal Code, the Prevention of Organized Crimes Act, the Cyber Crimes Act, the Proceeds of Crimes and Anti-Money Laundering Act, the Counter-Terrorism and Prevention of Organized Crimes Act, and the Prevention of Terrorism Act. All these acts, we will invoke all of them whenever necessary to make sure that we bring all these menaces to a stop. As a ministry, we call on all citizens to abide by the law in their exercise of freedom of expression and other rights, and to be fully aware of the interface between their rights, responsibilities, and the rights of others. Article 37 of the Constitution grants citizens the right to protest and picket on condition that they are peaceful and unarmed. As a government, we will always protect the enjoyment of this right on all other civil liberties provided for in our Constitution. I wish also to make it clear that we shall protect and defend our police officers from criminals and thugs purporting to be exercising their democratic rights through protests. Any Kenyan protesting in the streets of our towns and cities or in the villages while armed with stones, clubs, or pangas are putting our law enforcement officers and law-abiding citizens in danger. Appropriate force will be used to contain them and restore law and order. Physical attacks on our security personnel leading to injuries and even death erodes the trust and confidence the citizenry have on our officers. We will therefore not spare any effort to protect the safety and the authority of our police officers. There is no way anybody would have been protesting peacefully, then cut the hand of a police officer. There is no way. That is not a protest. That someone was protesting and stoned a police officer to death. By the time we see you coming with a gun or a machete, with a gun, a stone, or a machete, or any other weapon, we already know you are not a protester, you are a criminal. And the respective force must be used to protect. And we will defend our police officers as they use that force to deal with criminals. We will defend them in the land, we will defend them in the sea, we will defend them in air, and we will defend them in courts. We will not allow criminals to roam around our cities and towns and pretend to be exercising their civil liberties, when indeed they are criminals who have been hired and are part of the gangs I talked about, ready to be deployed by political leaders to pretend to be joining citizens who may have genuine grievances, but infiltrating those groups to cause mayhem and harm. We are not going to allow that, and we will defend our officers because they defend us. The reason why we are sleeping in our houses is because these police officers are putting their lives in danger. We will also be ready, and as a cabinet secretary, I'm ready to defend them to make sure that our country is safe and our police officers are safe. As a government, we cannot deny that there could be a few rogue elements in the service who may abuse power or engage in criminal activities. The reforms in our security sector have provided effective safeguards against such excesses and abuse. The Internal Affairs Unit, established under Section 87 of the National Police Service Act, receives and investigates complaints against police officers and plays a crucial role in enhancing accountability. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has also helped in implementing its mandate to raise the standards of discipline and professionalism in the police service. With this level of oversight, our police service will certainly get better and better. As we work to promote good governance and the rule of law, the police are instructed to only use legal and legitimate ways of dealing with criminals as provided for by the Constitution and other regional and international instruments. And as such, in protection of our police officers, I want to say this, IG, that I appreciate the reforms, and thank you, PS, and the team that have been working on the draft bill on veterans. All over the world, people look after their veterans. Because if you take care of your veterans, you motivate those who are serving. Because they know that if they serve with vigor and commitment, They are not just being thrown away and said, you are retired, forget about you. They have a way of taking care of the veteran officers because of the sacrifice they make. We are going to make sure that this law for dealing with the veterans is very clear, giving them opportunities, giving priority to people who have served before and they are in retirement. In case we need them in boards of agencies of government, we need them for assignments, we need them for task forces, for example, to inform those who are serving. We need them for training. We'll make sure that that's clearly provided for and prioritized for our veterans that are serving. Every part of the world have their own veterans. For us, as a progressive democracy, we must work to make sure that our veterans are taken care of. Number two is that in the housing agenda, in the housing project of government, we have made sure that the government has made sure that the National Police Service will be part and will be beneficiaries. Our officers will be beneficiaries of this program by making sure that we modernize our police stations and areas where our police officers live. We will be following up on this issue to make sure that a dedicated resources from this fund is going to assist us to have better living conditions for our police. The other issue that we must continue improving is the community policing. We want to make sure that even as we get these police officers to work with administrative units, we believe that this is one way of making sure that the community policing will be enhanced, because these men and women will be living among the community. This is an initiative we want to support, not to change the image of the police, because in the past we were being told we just want to change the image. You know, change the image looks like whitewashing. We just want to really change the police. You know, not just the image, but how we operate, how we interact, how we work together with the community, because if we work closer with the community, we are going to ensure that this issue is moved forward. I know IG, everybody here was waiting to hear from you about your the current reforms, but also the current promotion of our police officers. First, I want to thank you for, there's a lot of work to be done to promote our police officers. Some have stayed for 20, almost are going for retirement, somebody 20, 30 years without proper promotion. And I thank the chair of the National Police Service Commission, the Commission, for making sure that you work together closely to facilitate promotion of our officers. And the frequency of that promotion has really improved. And many of the officers are appreciating, they have now hope that they will be, you know, at some point they will be reached in terms of that promotion. And that is really commendable. And I sympathize with you because, and I sympathize also with the Chief Justice. I saw the Chief Justice had complained yesterday about the promotion of our police officers who are tied to her and subsequent movement to go for training. I think that this has also happened to me before, where I write many letters to you and say, oh, please promote this officer. They have worked with me for a long time. When they are promoted, unknown to me, they are supposed to go for training. So after the promotion, I saw the officer tied to me came to me and said, sir, now I'm reporting for training. So I said, but who do I remain with? And we had to work out to see how we are going to work together. Unfortunately, our Chief Justice went too public about this issue. And I want to assure you that I have excellent relationship with the Chief. I think I have a good relationship with the Chief Justice. Unless on her side she has an issue. I have never had an issue with the Chief Justice. The IG has never had an issue with the Chief Justice. The Chief Justice is one of the most, for the comfort of the country, the Chief Justice is among public officers who are properly taken care of in terms of her security. I know the manual says that she is entitled to 6 police officers as her bodyguards, but the Chief Justice has been given up to 32 police officers. And of the 32, only the ones who are promoted and called to go for training were 3 of them. She was concerned about 2 of our officers attached to her and the driver. And we, unfortunately, that misunderstanding, the IG thought he was doing a favor to the officers who are working with the Chief Justice by promoting them. It appears now that same favor has hit the IG hard. Ordinarily, the Chief Justice should have called the IG to say thank you very much for promoting my officers. But unfortunately, it has gone the other way. We want to assure the Chief Justice that that was a small matter. It didn't necessitate raising alarm. People now think all over the world that there is a scheme somewhere to deny the Chief Justice security for the benefit of the country. Even after the 3 officers were being sent for training, the Chief Justice was still going to remain with about 29 officers from different kind of guarding her home, being with her, the ones up to almost 7 drivers who are police officers, among others. And that misunderstanding did not require the kind of attention that was given yesterday in the media. The Chief Justice, I confirm, called me yesterday, and I told the Chief Justice that I was going to look into this issue and get clarification from the IG. And as a matter of fact, I told the Chief Justice that I was going to be sitting today with the IG here and the DIGs to understand what was happening. And before I could I called the IG, the Chief Justice also called the IG, and all of us said, okay, we are going to see how to continue promoting our officers, how the IG will promote the officers, at the same time continue with the remaining officers working with the Chief Justice. Unfortunately, even as I thought we sorted this issue, she never came back to me. I only saw a letter which is supposed to be my letter. I saw in the news with everybody. And I think such a condition should not happen, especially for us who know what it means to work together. I call upon our Chief Justice to allow us to work together as a team. And we are ready as a ministry to work and facilitate the entire cadre of public officers to make sure that they are taken full care of, and to ensure that we do not discuss issues of welfare of the Chief Justice in this manner. It's not supposed to be like this. In fact, I have really hesitated to respond. But you see, because the public think that maybe there was a scheme, I need to notify the country that there is no scheme, there was no reason, there is no motive. You just don't wake up one morning and say, you know, I want to do this. It's just that the officers are extremely excited that they were going to be promoted. Now I don't know what will happen if we return them and tell them now, awaiting the Chief Justice directions, you wait for your promotions. I don't know what will happen. I think we need to work together. We need to work together. We need to work together as a team and take good care of the people that work with us. To be very honest, I also fight very hard with the IG, telling him, can you promote the people I work with a little bit? So I also make the same request that the Chief Justice makes, and all many other officers make this, MPs make this request all the time. Senior people make this request. Because if you've stayed with somebody for 10 years, 15, and they are still in the same rank, it's also your duty to look after them and their welfare. These things we are talking about here, about welfare of small people or junior officers we work with, is extremely important and reflects in a certain way on ourselves as a senior officers. And I think there is, for the benefit of the country, you can see even my face, there is no reason. We have not wronged each other with the Chief Justice. There is no cause, there is no issue. I just want to tell the Chief Justice that you are safe, and the National Police Service can assure you that the protection of the Chief Justice and all our judges is guaranteed as per the Constitution. I don't know now if I still have to write a letter to respond to the letter of the Chief Justice, or this is enough, I don't know, but we'll see what to do that. Kwa hivyo, I appreciate all of you. Thank you very much for the good job you are doing. I look forward to a fantastic tour of duty working with you. I look forward to meeting GAO team again with a plan to see how we will continue together in what is government delivery and working together with the delivery unit of government to see that you are active on the ground in making sure that government policies are implemented on the ground. We want to see you as active as it were in every part of our country. And I believe that the energy you have and the energy the peers has and the energy I have and the committee and everybody here is going to be of great benefit to the country. So we are going to be having greater and more engagements with you. And even those who are retiring like Anne, we will continue tapping into your experiences and ensure that you continue contributing to our country. It is now my greatest pleasure to do 3 things. Is it 3 things? One is to first, the first part of it is to launch the administration police service roadmap for service delivery and revitalization. And 2, okay, to begin your makofi kwanza. Yeah, and second, to launch the National Government Police Unit officially. To make sure that long lost twins come together or the exes come together. And the third is to make sure that I officially close the conference that our National Police Administration Police Service Senior Officers Conference is now officially closed. Bas, asanteni sana na Mungu awabariki. Thank you very much.
We are unfailing. Unfailing. Aya. Unveiling.
Mheshimiwa Waziri, mabibi na mabwana, sasa imefika ile hatma ambayo ilikuwa tunisubiri, kuzinduliwa rasmi kwa documents 2. Kwanza ni ya National Government Administration Police Unit na ya pili ni revitalization of AP service roadmap ambayo waziri na umati wote umekuja kushuhudia. Na kwa 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 zindua waziri. Asante Mheshimiwa Waziri, na hapo tunajionea hizi 2 roadmap hiyo hapo ikiwa iko na urembo wote, imenakshiwa na vile vile kikundi cha NGAPU National Police AP Unit kikiwa pia kimezinduliwa rasmi sasa. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Waziri akiweza kukabidhiwa vitabu 2 hivi vinavyoashiria watu wa picha tuko. Haya. Akiwa sasa anapata vitabu vile Mheshimiwa Waziri, alafu aweze kuwakabidhi rasmi IG na MDIG na DCI, lakini kwa sasa kipindi cha picha kile kitabu cha rangi nyekundu. Haya, naeleza watu wa video waoni, tafadhali tuweze kupea nafasi Mheshimiwa Waziri aweze watu wa video waone kidogo. Watu wa TV, Mheshimiwa Waziri, kama unaweza kupeperusha hewani, kwa sababu watu wako na furaha, waliokaa wakasimama hawate kukaa tena. Lakini hapo naam. Basi tuelekea kwa podium ili tuweze kuviona kwa njia nzuri zaidi. Hapo sasa, asante waziri kwa kukubali kuja hapa juu ya jukwaa, na sasa tuweza kuona Mheshimiwa Waziri na wakuu wale alioandamana nao wakiwa wameshikilia vitabu hivi rasmi. Kile kiko mbele cheupe na rangi kidogo ya kijani kibichi, hiyo ndio roadmap to service revitalization. Nyuma yake ya kitabu hicho ni kile cha rangi nyekundu, hiyo ndio kitabu rasmi ambacho kinaashiria uzinduzi wa National Government Administration Police Unit. Tupate vitabu 2 vitatu tafadhali. Jukwaa letu ni dogo, lakini hii ni ishara ya upendo ambao hii taasisi inaweza kupokea. Yes. Vile vile Mheshimiwa Waziri, ikiandamana na hiyo kuna bahasha ilikuwa umeandaliwa rasmi, Madam Jopian, ambayo utakabidhiwa ikiwa iko na zawadi chache za kutoka kwa kikosi, ili ukienda kule uweze kupata ufahamu zaidi, na vile vile wakuu walioandamana nao waweze pia hapo ndani